Alright, class, take your seats. This week, we're going to be learning about sequels.
Ha! Sweet.
Calm down, Blue Sky. This isn't just a chance for you to half-ass some fanfiction of your old work and have it make bank. Now, a sequel, as you all know, is another installment of a previously published work. It's not just a chance for you to tell a story with the same characters. It's a chance to view similar themes from different perspectives, expand the world that you set up in the beginning, create deeper connections between the characters, etc., etc.
Similar themes from different perspectives? That's all I did through the 90s. This'll be a cakewalk.
Well, Disney, if writing a good sequel is so simple, you can spend this week learning about The Land Before Time, parts 2 through 14. Anyways, I'll meet with each of you one-on-one every day until Friday. We'll see where you guys are doing alright and how you could do a bit better. I encourage you all to work at your own pace, but do have at least one full sequel for me every day. If you have more, good on you, but don't sacrifice quality for quantity. Alright, Pixar, I see you only had two choices for sequels, and I also see that you went with Toy Story. I can tell you worked pretty hard on this one. Why don't you tell me a little bit more about it yourself?
Yeah, I'm still pretty new to this thing. But people really seemed to like Toy Story, so I wrote another one. In the last one, Woody was kind of disregarded as a toy for a bit, so we got to see how his jealousy panned out, but in this one, he's a collector's item.
Okay, sounds pretty interesting. And what about everybody else?
Well, Buzz is the only other main character, so we get to see him settle into his role as a toy a bit more, even meeting another Buzz. With Woody gone, he also takes charge as the leader. We also introduce Jessie, another cowfolk who has some abandonment issues, as I think that would be pretty normal for a lot of toys.
You know, Pixar, after seeing this, I think you've really done well with it so far. It's similar to the first, of course, sequels tend to be, but it's a very natural story and it does deal with a bunch of the same things. You're really doing pretty good at this, and I hope to see more of it through the week. Okay, Disney, you're a rather experienced studio. What made you choose The Rescuers for your first sequel?
I just decided to make one of my other movies better. I kinda half-assed the old one, and now it's full of cool stuff.
Oh, alright. Well, it might be an improved movie, but how does it function as a sequel?
I don't know. There's a mouse who's more kick-ass than Bernard, teaching him he needs to do more awesome stuff. That's character growth. And we see the Rescue Aid Society in Australia, so the world is broadened, I guess.
Well, it looks like a good enough movie, but does it really function as a sequel? It seems like it just tells another story with the same characters. It doesn't matter that this one comes later on, and it really doesn't matter that the first one is even around. Remember, we're writing sequels specifically.
Whatever. It's still a good movie. Get off my back. Go nitpick whatever dumb decision Blue Sky made.
Okay, Blue Sky, tell me a little bit about what you brought for me today.
Well, Ice Age is a franchise where prehistoric animals...
I'm sorry, a franchise? You've got one sequel. Maybe you want to hold back a bit before declaring it a franchise.
Nah, it's a franchise now. These guys are going to make me some cash. Anyways, the themes that carry over from the first movie are that Scrat's abused by the writing team, Diego's uncomfortable when he's not being a predator, Sid's an idiot, and Manny is still an asshole.
Blue Sky, those aren't themes. Well, Diego kind of is, but even in comedy, there's themes that your previous film had. What about the struggle of human versus nature? What about the common bond shared by animals?
There's a mammoth that thinks it's a possum for a few minutes. That's a common bond shared by animals.
Blue Sky, you're going to need to do better on your next sequel. Frankly, this is pretty awful. Focus a bit more on the themes of the first work, or at least try to include some kind of themes at all instead of just character traits. DreamWorks, you have no idea how happy I am that you are the last person I see today. What you've written for today is among the best sequels I have ever seen.
What, you mean my dumb pop culture comedy?
No, DreamWorks, no. Your smart pop culture comedy. I mean, yeah, you have jokes about Pinocchio wearing a thong, but it still has quite a bit to say building on the original. It shows us how and why Fiona got to her place in the highest point of the tallest tower, and expands on that idea quite a bit to its logical conclusion. Honestly, this didn't even need to be a sequel. It could have just been its own film, and yet, watching Shrek after watching this brings a whole lot to the table.
Really? I just wanted an action scene set to holding out for a hero.
Which was phenomenal, mind you.
Thank you. I did my best. But all that stuff about changing for a loved one, identity, and the integrating of a different culture into the current way of life was just needed to get to that point. Although I did need to sacrifice a bit of donkey on the altar of comedic relief as well. That and lampooning fantasy tropes with topical pop culture in a way that ages well is something that takes quite a bit of effort.
DreamWorks, are you doing that thing where you're secretly a lot smarter than you let on?
No.
So, Disney, we need to talk.
Cool, because there's a lot to talk about. In fact, I made 24 more sequels for today. What do you want to start with?
Disney, do you care to explain why your younger brother, Disney Toon Studios, was falling asleep in my class just 2 hours ago?
I don't know. Must have been up late again.
Disney, did you make your younger brother write 24 sequels for you, all last night, based on your most beloved properties?
What? No. All of those I wrote. I did that.
Well then, you should be ashamed. There's really no excuse for this kind of lack in quality. The animation quality has dropped significantly, the writing is awful, and beyond anything else, this is just lazy.
Well, actually, yeah, fine. I didn't write these. My brother did, and he's not as good a writer as I am.
Disney, you're suspended for a day. Frankly, unacceptable, and these films, if they warranted a sequel, warranted a better one than one hastily pumped out, not even by you, just so you didn't have to do last night's homework.
Well, go to hell! I don't need sequels to be a great studio. I'll just continue standalone films, and they will all be great. All of them!
Nobody said you needed sequels. Hey, DreamWorks. So, Shrek again?
Yeah, it worked so well last time I figured I'd try it again. So, this time we get an alternate timeline Shrek story. It's a way to see how life may have been if Shrek wasn't around doing his Shrek thing. We even come back to that classic storybook mocking opening and everything.
Right, and by not describing any of the third, along with come back to, as well as a plot that conveniently ignores everything that may have happened in Shrek 3, I'm getting the impression that you'd rather ignore that one.
What Shrek 3? Shrek Forever After is the third Shrek. I should know, I wrote them.
DreamWorks, it's okay to have a bad piece of work every now and again.
I really don't know what you're talking about. I only wrote 3 Shrek films, and all of them were pretty good.
I'm not talking about a different Shrek movie. I'm talking about in general. Like, maybe with Shark Tale?
What? I thought we were talking about Shrek the Third. I don't know about any Shark Tale.
Don't worry, DreamWorks, it happens with everyone. The important thing is that you recover from it, and with Forever After, it looks like you certainly have. A franchise can survive a bad movie or two. It's not that big of a deal. You can just pretend like that didn't happen, and you have a good record to stand on still. It's when it becomes a trend of poor quality that this becomes an issue. Oh, and by the way, send in Blue Sky, would you? Blue Sky?
The franchise is up and running. 2 movies might not cut it, but 3 does it for sure. And if you don't think so, I threw in a 4th for extra measure. Boom, baby! Got the sequel game on lock.
So I've noticed, and let me guess, Scrat is abused by the writing team, Diego is uncomfortable when he's not being the predator, Sid is an idiot, and Manny is an ass.
Hold up. Manny's not an ass in Dawn of the Dinosaurs. He drops that act for a full movie, before picking it up again for the overprotective dad act. It keeps the audience guessing, you know? Yeah?
Blue Sky, I have not had to guess in regards to any of these films. Do you maybe want to try, I don't know, not running this ship into the ground? None of the sequels you've made have justified themselves. It's just the same lowbrow slapstick on repeat, and it's only decent when the squirrel does it. Sequels should not be made in pursuit of a franchise. There needs to be some kind of purpose to them. What that purpose is a bit difficult to pin down most of the time, but I'll tell you one thing, it's not this. Go home, try to come up with something that isn't Ice Age for once. So, Pixar, another follow-up to Toy Story, I see.
Yep, the first one went so well, I wanted to see what more I could do with it.
So then, what more happened this time around? Did some toys maybe find their way into a sticky situation that they can only get out of with the help of other newly met toys? Did you explore abandonment in yet another way?
Are you trying to say it was predictable?
What? No, not really. I just wanted to hear what you thought about it from your own voice.
You know, I can do other sequels. I don't need to stick to Toy Story.
And I have no doubt about that. But this was good. It was almost as good as the other two.
Almost as good? I can do better. I'll do something. It won't be predictable. It'll be the best. Yeah, and it won't be a Toy Story either. I'll start on it right now.
I just set them down a dark path, didn't I?
How about that pistachio ice cream?
No, wasabi.
Oh, same old, same old. What's up with you?
You know, I was talking with DreamWorks yesterday about pretending like films just didn't happen.
Yep, I agree. Good talk.
Good talk. DreamWorks, you are very good at the sequel business.
Really? I mean, yeah, it's pretty cool.
No, really. This does everything a sequel should do, and is generally everything a sequel needs to be. Number one, expanding the world. You do that through the introduction of Gongmen City, as well as the named, but not traveled to, Panda Village, giving the impression of a living, breathing society. It poses questions to our main protagonist, namely, is his pursuit of Kung Fu worth it in the face of this new technology?
Well, yeah, the idea is complex and all, but I just really wanted a big cannon. That and a cooler, darker bad guy.
Oh yeah, Lord Shen is pretty interesting, and his motivations and backstory are
Reminiscent of the story of Oedipus and the way that trying to stop a prophecy caused it to happen. Yeah, that was an afterthought, yeah. Can't you just appreciate that the guy's really cool with a million blades and explosions and this dumb action comedy and leave it at that?
Well, I certainly can. But can you? Because your sequels are some of your best works. A lot of your sequels end up being actually better than their predecessors. You took two great films and kept them great. You took a mediocre film and made it better, and then made that even better. And all of them had genuine care and effort put into them that is very clear. So let me tell you a little bit of a secret. I want a Chicken Run franchise. I want a Road to El Dorado sitcom. I want a Megamind cinematic universe. Because you know what I think? I think you are the best in this class at making sequels, and I don't think it's even close.
I'm gonna go. God, you're so weird when you pull these Goodwill Hunting monologues every week, insisting I can do better. Why don't you just make my dumb, stupid movies?
Yo, Teach, I got some new stuff for you here. So Rio is a franchise where
Blue
birds...
Sky, again with the franchises. Regardless, this movie, it's actually a passable sequel. I mean, it's not a great movie, but it furthers the environmental and conservation message decently, as well as the concerns of domestication that Jewel had in the first film. Subbing out poaching for deforestation as the big issue is a good choice also.
Hell yeah! I got some dancing birds too, and they play soccer, and the nerd bird is jealous of the jock bird. Classic.
Actually, I think that's a point that could use a little bit of work. I mean, Blue and...
Nerdbird.
Yes, Nerdbird. Nerdbird already has kids with Jewel. The whole jealousy-ridden shoehorn rival sequel, it doesn't work here. Or most places, for that matter.
Whatever, man. Nerd tries to play sports, and he can't do it. He tries to be suave. He can't. He tries to adhere to traditionally male traits. He can't do it. It's tried and true cash flow.
You know what? It's kind of funny. There's some pretty birds. There's some semblance of cohesion with the first film. Fine. It's passable. It's fine. I've accepted that this is likely the best I'll get from you in a while, and it looks like you may have learned something. I'm considering my job done for today. Do what you want.
Do what I want? Time to dust off Ice Age and run it further into the ground. Later, Teach.
Fine. This is fine. This is just fine.
Ice Age 5, baby!
Why is Neil deGrasse Tyson in this movie?
And check it. Making bank, as always.
They're stopping a meteor as prehistoric animals?
What can I say? Everything I touch turns to gold.
Blue Sky, you have truly learned nothing.
I'm so good. I make it all look effortless.
Yep, it certainly is, without any kind of effort. None. At all. Whatsoever.
Okay, so yesterday was kind of a mess, but I've got a number of things that I've been working on. We've got a Monsters Inc. prequel, which I don't know if it counts, but I've also got one for Finding Nemo, all about Dory, an actual Cars sequel, and something everyone's been asking about for a while, an incredible sequel.
Okay, so first, I need to ask. Are you doing okay?
Yeah.
You're not going to break down like the last time?
No.
Okay. So I'll start with the good. All of these are pretty decent. They follow the same cast, explore similar topics, and are up to your usual production standards, which are excellent as always. I like them all pretty well.
Okay, pretty well. So then what are you so clearly leaving out?
Well, they all have their own issues, actually. Monsters University kind of disregards a bunch of Monsters Inc. character growth while only providing its own growth near the end. So it's barely like we're watching the same characters, and a college comedy isn't really what most people sign up for when they think of your work.
Alright, so I'm not really surprised about that one.
Yeah, of course. It's alright, it's okay.
Okay, and Finding Dory.
Well, Finding Dory, you're making the comic relief into the main character, which is always something to avoid, but it kind of works here because Dory has a whole lot more depth than, I don't know, Mater.
We are not talking about that.
Okay. Well, you also made the humans a little oblivious to everything that's happening. They don't seem like actual people anymore. That, and this is a lot of retreading on Finding Nemo, where Marlin's all, oh, be careful, it's dangerous, and him being that way causes the actions leading to the real danger, and he spends the rest of the time doing the same character arc. Meanwhile, we've got a jailbreak going on and commentary about disability and all that, and well, it's not Finding Nemo, but it's really doing its best to be.
Okay, but it's still not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Okay.
And Cars 3. It's fine. It puts lightning back in the spotlight, which is an improvement. It deals with similar themes from Cars 1 about getting older and passing the torch from the same character's perspective, but later in life, so the perspective itself has changed a bit, which is really nice. But I'll be honest, after the film which shall not be named, it leaves a bit of a sour taste. That, and it's a very cookie-cutter sporting film. And, again, cookie-cutter isn't really what people sign on for when they think of your work.
But branching out and doing new things is part of the business. If a studio always does the same stuff, it can't get better, it won't grow.
You're right. It might be important to try something new for you, but that doesn't make it a better film solely because of that. What you did new, you did actually do pretty well.
Okay, so Cars is respectable again.
Cars isn't a dumpster fire anymore.
Fine, okay. But The Incredibles, everyone wanted that. Surely that knocked your socks off.
Oh yeah, great. The motorcycle, brilliant. That one scene with all the intrigue and intense flashing lights, very nice.
Oh, geez, just spit it out.
Well, the societal progress implied at the end of the first movie was instantly dismissed, as was the thread that became a key character building point, and the Underminer is apparently the best place to start this story, but not worth mentioning for the rest of it, and the villain's plan is eerily similar to Syndrome's with the whole "Supers wronged me, I'll make them disappear while under the guise of assisting them for a bit" thing. Just worse because Evelyn's motivations are kind of spotty at best, and her plan is a bit less thought out as well. Then you add in the plot point of the dad not understanding how to reach their kids because dads who don't know their kids isn't worn out enough yet. Take away any kind of commentary that seemed to be promise about our addictions to screens, which may have gone somewhere interesting. Maybe. Look, the bottom line is that many of these sequels seem like they're pretending the prior one doesn't exist. With Cars 3, that's good, but the others? Monsters University was under no obligation to build upon its previous characters. Finding Dory is the same with a slightly shifted perspective, and Incredibles 2 just says, yeah, let's erase all of that pronto. They are not bad movies, but with Finding Dory and Incredibles 2 specifically, they're trying really hard to be their predecessor, and comparing films to Finding Nemo or The Incredibles so directly, those are great ways to find problems with those films.
Did you just criticize my work by saying my other work is too good?
Well, yeah. You already told those stories incredibly well. Why are you continuing those by telling them when you could make something brand new again? Like with Toy Story. Sure, there are similarities, but with the first, it's an adventure movie, and it progresses to be a bit more of a character drama over time. You're good at doing that, flipping expectations instead of meeting them.
Well, now that you mention it, I am looking at making another one. I'm thinking of looking at entirely new themes because I've already done abandonment a few times. And when Bonnie is still a little girl, that's probably not going to be an issue for quite a while. Instead, I want to look into what a toy really is. Like, check out this teaser.
I don't belong here!
You know, Pixar? I thought you wrapped it up really well at the end of Toy Story 3. But I was wrong. I really, really want you to tell this story. But generally, I still think you're probably a bit better sticking to singular stories. DreamWorks, are you aware of what you've made here? This is the best film that I've seen in this class. This is the Empire Strikes Back of animation.
Fine. I'm ridiculously good at this. I can't stop making masterpieces that seem to dwarf my previous, already good work. Even those times I chose my most mediocre textbook comedy as the starting point. The only thing I was ever able to do was improve upon it. I take bronze and make it silver, silver and make it gold, gold and make it diamonds. I am become franchise. The god of sequels, pray to me and rejoice in the more significant role your side characters have, the deepening of already solid friendships, and the almighty expansion of the setting. Are you happy now?
I am more than satisfied.
Great, because I'm writing sequels to Trolls, Croods, and Boss Baby. I'll see you next week.
You know, I think I'm fine with this. Disney?
Fine, I made you a dumb sequel. It's got the characters, they go on their new and different adventure, meet new people and junk. It's probably better than anything else you've seen this week. Can I go now?
Well, Disney, there are a few interesting parts. Like, for one, this is very clearly about the anxiety of isolation to the point where the relationship becomes destructive. That's actually very smart to do in a sequel, especially where your two leads had such chemistry.
Yeah, I know it's great.
But you do seem to be going through the motions on this one.
Hey, I don't give a shit. I'm the biggest thing since sliced bread, and people will eat up anything I do.
Sorry that I have standards, which, by the way, I know you are capable of meeting. If you put in a bit more effort, anyway. And also, you still owe another sequel. You've only made 2 for the whole week so far.
Yeah, fine. I'm already working on Frozen 2. In fact, there's a teaser after credits of Ralph Breaks the Internet.
What? Really? I must have missed that.
Okay, I'm out. I'll have it for you next week.
Yeah, okay. Now, where is that preview? Okay, here it... God damn it, Disney!
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down, never gonna run around and desert you, never gonna...
Did you just criticize my work by saying my other work is too good?
That is not exactly what I was going for with that line.
I'm sorry.
Like,
I liked
I
it!
was so panicked that
I like
anything
my
else.
panic.
I understand that, but I don't, and I wrote it, damn it. I don't like more nasal. That's more like know-it-all.
I can go deeper. I can go James Earl Jones. You hate everything about this milky rich voice.
No, I don't, and that's the problem. I'm supposed to.
2 movies might not make it, but 3 hits the cut, and if you don't think so, I got a 4th one that I threw in for extra measure. I got the boom movie. Oh my god.
I've got the boom, baby. Okay.
Put a little something, just
Yeah.
a little something on. But, you know. What, you mean my dumb pop culture cut?
No.
Oh, Jesus
No,
Christ.
I hate you.
That sounds awful.
It does. It really does.
Sora. Donald.
Next time, I'll be covering an unlikely duo, both rejected by their respective worlds, and the happiest ending I have ever come across.